Hi friends, my name is Bethany and I will be guiding you through a practice that I have not so creatively called grief yoga. I know from a very personal space how complex grief is and how heavy it can lie in the body. I wanted to curate a practice that would help move some of that would help anyone that was interested in reconnecting with the breath, reconnecting with the present moment. A lot of times in grief, we are just feeling the tremendous weight of sadness and of loss. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can oftentimes do about that loss. What we can do is come back to the present moment and see if we can find a little space to breathe a little easier. And that is my hope and that is my intention for you for this practice. So wherever you are, get cozy, grab your mat, grab some water, and let's get to our practice. Alrighty, we're gonna begin in a seated posture on the mat. So just come to a nice, comfortable seated pose. Make sure that your butt bones, your sit bones, are connected to the earth. And then when you're ready, float one hand to your heart space and one hand to your belly. The pranayama, or the breathing technique we're gonna work with today, is a deep belly breathing. So you're gonna inhale in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Use a pace here for this pranayama that feels right for you. This breath is really nourishing, restoring, doesn't need to be rushed. And it's a really great tool to begin to build that bridge between the mind and the body. As you are breathing, I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. The intention that I'm working with today is ground and release. You can choose whatever feels best and right for you. On our next exhale, we'll begin by taking some gentle, intuitive stretches here. You'll see me opening my side body by taking some side bends and then a gentle back bend. But I invite you to stretch and move in this portion of our practice however feels best for you. Maybe you stretch like it's the first stretch of the day. Maybe you give yourself a hug. Whatever you need. And when you're done, we're going to transition into child's pose, bringing our knees to the wide edge of the mat, sending our hips back towards our heels, connecting our third eye or the center of our forehead to the earth, extending your arms fully, separating your fingers, coming back into that deep belly breath that we began our practice with, in through the nose, long exhale. Child's pose is an amazing posture for many reasons, but it is the posture that is connected to the energy of surrender. And as we know, in grief, surrender is a theme that we are constantly revisiting and having to kind of curate a relationship with. Child's pose is an amazing posture to help us do that in the body, and that can help us find some ways that we can surrender in real time. And on the exhale, we'll transition onto all fours, preparing for our cat-cow portion. As you exhale, come into cow where you have a slight arch in the back, your eyes are facing forward, your heart space is open. And then exhaling into your cat where your shoulders reach up for the ceiling, your belly button curls into the spine, really getting a nice shoulder and spinal flexion here. And moving through cat-cow at your own cadence, playing with the breath here, seeing what really feels good. A lot of times when we're navigating a lot in life, and specifically grief, our heart and our chest and our shoulders will carry the brunt of that heaviness, as well as our hips and our low back. Things can get really sticky. So moving through cat-cow nice and slow is a really great way to invite the body to begin to unravel. Finding your way back into tabletop on all fours, we're going to play with some balance here. Extend your right leg back and your left arm forward. Finding your balance, engaging your core, imagining that you're scooping the belly button to the spine. That'll really help you stabilize. You can stay here in this static balance, or if you'd like, you can bring your elbow to your knee 3 times as to awaken the core and create some fire within. And finding your way back into tabletop as we prepare for this balance work on the opposite side. So extending your left leg back and your right fingertips forward. Option here again to hold the static pose, or if you'd like, connect the elbow to the knee and extend. elbow to the knee, extend, and one more time. Feeling that fire building in the belly and in your core, and really connecting to the energy of sensation in the body. And finding your way back onto all fours. Maybe you gently shift your hips back and forth or take some hip rolls, preparing for the next phase of our practice. Walk your palms a little forward up towards the top of your mat as we move into our downward facing dog. Hips are reaching for the ceiling. Shake your head yes and shake your head no to release any tension you're holding in the neck. And feel free to walk your dog by bending one knee, then the other, opening the back of that posterior chain, feeling some stretch in the hips, the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves, all the way down to the toes. Take your feet a little wider than the hips as we slowly walk ourselves back into ragdoll, keeping a gentle bend in the knees, bringing opposite hands to opposite elbows, allowing the neck and head to be heavy. And you could stay static or you can shift side to side. I love ragdoll. Again, this is a posture of surrender, a posture of release. And then when you're ready, release the arms and vertebrae by vertebrae, come to a standing mountain pose on your mat. As you come into mountain pose, feel free to shift your weight back and forth, really connecting your feet into the earth, feeling the full expression of your body, noticing everything from your head down to your toes. Inhaling your arms up overhead. Maybe you connect your palms and take a gentle side bend to the right and then to the left. Coming back center, reaching up, opening your arms, and as if you're swan diving down to the earth. Inhale, halfway rise, bringing your back flat. Your belly is engaged here. Exhale, forward fold. Gentle bend of the knees, rise all the way up. Arms come up overhead. Palms are connecting at the chest here. And take a pause. Inhaling, palms back up to the earth. Gentle exhale all the way down. Inhale, halfway rise. Palms connect to the earth. Find your way back into a plank pose here. You have an option to stay in plank or to come down onto your knees and lower yourself down onto the ground. As your belly connects to the ground, place your palms by your chest and take a baby cobra, gently pushing yourself up just a few inches off of the ground. Or if a full expression of cobra is in your practice, then go for that. Finding your way into downward facing dog. And then stepping both feet forward into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, forward fold. Gentle bend of the knees, rise up. And exhale back down into forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Palms connect to the earth. Step back into your plank. Hold plank or come onto your knees. Lowering yourself on down. This is your chaturanga. Opening the heart in baby or full cobra. Downward facing dog. Stepping your feet forward. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, forward fold. Gentle bend in the knees. Reach on up. Palms come together, stopping at the heart space. Reaching up, forward fold again. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, forward fold. Palms are connecting to the ground. Stepping back into plank here or coming onto your knees. Lowering yourself to the earth and taking your heart opener, baby cobra or full cobra. Downward facing dog. Finding your breath here in your downward facing dog. Extending your right leg on up towards the ceiling. And then the left. Noticing how that feels in the body. Finding your breath again, and then inhaling the right leg on up to the ceiling and bringing it forward in between your palm. We want this lunge to feel really balanced, so make sure that your right foot is aligned with the right side of the mat and that your left back foot is squared off, so it shouldn't be directly behind the right foot. You want to feel nice and balanced and your weight distributed properly. You can float your hands to your chest here as you sink into the lunge. We're grounding and we're releasing. Palms reach up for the ceiling, and we exhale our palms on either side of that right foot and come and take our chaturanga, lowering ourselves down into the earth, opening the heart, and then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Floating our left leg up towards the ceiling and bringing it on through both of our front palms. Again, squaring off so that left leg is towards the left side of the mat and the right leg is nice and square. We feel our weight distributed. We feel nice and safe in this grounding posture. Palms come to connect to the heart. Find a breath here. Inhaling, palms up towards the ceiling. Maybe you want to open your heart center here by bringing your arms into cactus, by bending the elbows, opening the heart center. And then exhale, palms connect to the earth. We come into our plank and take our chaturanga. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhaling our right leg up towards the ceiling and bringing it on through our front two palms, this time coming into warrior one. In warrior one, our right foot is facing forward and our back foot is at a 45-degree angle, and we'll square our hips forward. Inhaling, arms up overhead, fingertips reaching for the ceiling, we'll transition into warrior two. In warrior two, your right foot is facing forward and that back foot just transitions to be at a 90-degree angle. You're sinking into the right thigh, hugging thigh muscle to the thigh bone, taking deep breaths here. There's a lot of sensation in this posture. This posture is all about strength and openness. Deep breath in, reverse your warrior by bringing your right hand up over towards the left side, exhaling back into warrior two, and then switch both feet to face the left side of your mat as we prepare for a wide leg forward fold. Play with what feels best for you in this wide leg forward fold. If you'd like, you can heel toe your feet even wider, maybe bringing your hands to the outside of your ankles or your toes. You could bring your arms to opposite elbows and allow yourself to just hang. And maybe you have a headstand practice from this posture. And if you do, go off. I'd love to see it. Play with what feels best for you. Again, the intention of this practice is to ground and release. On your next exhale, you're going to walk your hands to the top of your mat, step your feet back into plank, and take your chaturanga. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhaling now our left leg up towards the ceiling. We're going to take our left leg on through our front two hands as we rise into warrior one. Left toes forward, right toes at a 45-degree angle. Inhaling, exhaling, finding our way into warrior two. So now our back foot is at a 90-degree angle and our front foot is facing forward. Arms are fully extended, leaning into the left thigh, hugging thigh muscle to the thigh bone, allowing sensation, allowing fire to build here. Exhale, reverse warrior, bringing the left hand up over towards your right side, back into warrior two as we transition into goddess. In goddess squat, our feet are facing away from each other, so they're facing the short edges of our mat. And we can come into a squat where you feel some sensation, where you feel some fire burning in the thighs. Option to stay stagnant or static in a squat, or like I'm doing, you could place your hands in the inside of your thighs and drop one shoulder at a time, taking a slight twist as we get even deeper into the hip flexors. Wherever you are in your squat, inhale on up into a 5-point star. Exhale, face the front of your mat. Step back into plank and take your chaturanga. You're doing beautiful. I know I'm throwing a lot of big heat building postures at you and you're doing incredible. We'll meet in downward facing dog here, finding a breath and then stepping both feet to the front of the mat, taking an inhale, rise, exhale, forward fold, rising on up, bringing palms to heart center. Begin to become aware of your feet connected to your mat as we prepare for our balance series of this practice. We'll start with tree. So you can open your right hip by bringing the inside of your right foot either to your right ankle or your calf, or if you have the flexibility, your thigh. You just don't want to rest your foot on the knee joint. Once you feel really rooted and grounded here in your tree, you can begin to explore and play with your branches. You could take a traditional tree. Maybe your branches are moving like mine are here. Maybe you bring your hands to your heart space. Whatever you feel called to do, what matters most in this posture is that you feel grounded while doing it. So we're building here, we're building into the creativity, right? We need to root and ground before we can feel free to create. Exhale, bring your right foot on down, and we'll begin tree on the left side, opening the left hip, either resting the inside of the left foot on the right ankle, calf, or thigh, noticing if this side feels any different than the other, and then begin to express yourself with your branches on this tree. And you might find that this side is completely different, and that's normal because each side of our body is governed by the opposite side of our brain. So sometimes things are just looking, feeling different, and that's completely fine. Also beautiful if you need to use a wall or something to help you balance here in this posture. Releasing the left leg on down and preparing for our next balanced posture, dancer. Extending your left fingertips up to the ceiling, reach your right hand back for your right foot or ankle. We bend at the torso, so we're balancing on our left leg. Our left fingertips are reaching forward, and our right leg is going on back. This is an advanced balance posture, so have some fun with it. I just fell out of mine in this video, and I chose to leave it in because it's real, and yoga is real. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's a practice. And so if you're still in it on the right side, release your legs, bring palms together at the heart space, take a breath before we inhale up and do dancer on the left side. So your right fingertips are reaching for the ceiling, your left hand has the left foot in it, and you're reaching forward, balancing on the right leg, finding the opening, finding your balance. Beautiful. Coming back center, releasing your leg on down, palms come together, and you're stopping at heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back into plank here. Stopping in plank for just a breath or two, really connecting to that core. This is your last plank of the practice, I promise. And then coming onto all fours. Finding a few rounds of cat-cow here like we did at the beginning of practice. And noticing if anything has shifted. How are your shoulders feeling? How is your low back feeling? How's your heart feeling? And once you feel satisfied with your cat-cows, I invite you to come into child's pose. This is where we'll be doing our shavasana. Or if you'd like to take a traditional shavasana on your back, that's beautiful too. And as you are in this posture of surrender and connecting to your breath, I invite you to come back to the energy in which you set the intention for your practice today. You chose to do grief yoga because you are grappling and navigating grief. And I want to just offer you my deepest love and compassion, but also the invitation to send yourself some gratitude for showing up today in the way that you did for your body, for your spirit, for yourself. And when we take care of ourselves, we're also able to show up for our loved ones. You can stay in child's pose if you'd like, or you can come into a seated posture. Bring your hands to your heart space, taking a deep breath. Thank you so much for sharing your practice today. And please know you can revisit this practice anytime that you need. Anytime you need to tune in to some grounding, to connect with your body, and maybe even just not feel so alone. If you'd like, you can bring your palms together and thumbs to your third eye. The light in me honors and sees the light in you. Namaste.